हेलो दोस्तों, मैं हूं श्वेता स्टोरी बेरीज के साथ और आप देख रहे हैं गपशप। आज मैं आप सबको मिलवाने वाली हूं हमारे स्टार ऑथर विजय लिखिते, जो कि मुंबई वासी है। उनकी स्टोरीज बहुत ही पॉपुलर है स्टोरी बेरीज पर। वो रोमांस भी लिखते हैं, हॉरर भी लिखते हैं, साइंटिफिक फिक्शन भी लिखते हैं, सोसाइटी के ऊपर में कटाक्ष भी लिखते हैं। तो आइए मिलते हैं विजय जी से और जानते हैं उनकी स्टोरीज के पीछे की स्टोरीज। एंड लेट्स डू सम गपशप। Let's do some gupshup. Vijay ji, welcome to our show Gupshup.
Thank you. Yes.
विजय जी, लेट्स हियर इट फ्रॉम यू। अब अपने बारे में कुछ बताएं।
See, I was born in 1948. That's pretty many years ago. And
Yes.
I graduated from Mumbai University. And I was born and brought up only in Mumbai. I spent most of life in Mumbai only. Few years I have
Okay.
been outside, but otherwise, most of the time I spent in Mumbai only. Then I did my graduation electrical engineering, uh, but because there was no other option, electronics was just getting introduced. So with electronics as an option, I got my electrical degree, and
Okay.
computers were coming in that time. The first introduction, and luckily I got introduced to that field. Actually, I didn't have any professional training for computers because it's totally
Okay.
new. It was totally new field. But I was given a challenge and took it. I had to learn as well as deliver my expertise. So that was the year in 1973.
Okay.
And, and in 75, I was posted in IIM Ahmedabad as a resident engineer, and I started my career in computers. Later on, I started working daily, moving all over India, and it was a very hectic
Okay.
period.
Seems you've traveled a lot of places.
Yes, I traveled a lot of places because computers were in demand. So naturally, I was in demand, and I traveled almost all over India, and was just traveling
Great.
by flying all over place.
Okay.
Actually, it became so difficult for me to pursue my hobbies also then, which I had earlier, writing and listening to music as well as movies, seeing movies. But I could not pursue them further because I was totally involved in my career.
So writing
And
has always been your hobby.
yes, it was a hobby. I'll tell you about my writing first. I knew I had talent in the sense, some flair for writing, but I couldn't follow it. I couldn't pursue it, as I told you. Only due to lack of technology, keeping myself up to date with the technology, I could not do that. So ultimately, I had to shut down my production unit. In 2014, we shut down the production unit. And then that means I got retirement, and my whole energy or internal desire to write sprang up. Then I started writing regularly.
So tell us something about your story. Like there is so much of variation in your writing. Like there is romance, there is patriotism, there is horror, then there is society satire.
Yeah.
So many.
Uh, when I was in college, when I started writing, I was feeling to write. So that time,
Mm-hmm.
it was only personal experience. Whatever came to me
Okay.
in my contact or whatever I witnessed, I could write.
Mm-hmm.
During after retirement, my
Mm-hmm.
horizon had widened up so much that I could think of
Mm-hmm.
science, I could think of terrorism, not terrorism. Yeah, terrorism also I written some poetry, but
Okay.
terrors or horrifying stories. Then uh, family relationship and
Okay.
everything as such. There was no restriction for me, and there was no uh, barrier for me to get into.
So,
And
like when you write, ये पहले क्या आती है? पहले, I mean, the characters come first, or the plot or the theme come first?
no, no, theme comes
Theme.
first.
So, Vijay ji, tell us, when do you prefer writing?
Shweta, I usually write during night
Mm-hmm.
because the I'm a little sensitive. I can't work when other
Okay.
things are going on, and I need
Mm-hmm.
a little bit isolation, as you said. Like
Okay.
because I can't stand the disturbances when I'm writing.
Mm-hmm.
So I prefer writing in the night. Most of my stories are written in the night, and though
Okay.
sometimes in the daytime also, whenever I get time, I do write. But still,
Mm-hmm.
it is most of my work is done in the nights.
Okay, it just came to my mind. Vijay, just tell us, since you're saying you prefer writing at night, you've
Yeah,
written so many horror stories, so you
yeah,
have encountered something like that, like writing something, that sensitive, horror wali story, and that too writing at night. So, did you encounter any, any incident as such, or is it only in the imagination and then you're completely chilled out?
yeah. That of course, most of the thing is imagination. But I can tell you
Mm-hmm.
one incident which happened in my
Mm-hmm.
factory,
Okay.
and when it happened,
Mm-hmm.
I a couple of days or a couple of weeks later, I wrote it as a story. What happened in Vasai those days, where my factory was
Mm-hmm.
there,
Okay.
the power supply was not stable, the power
Mm-hmm.
source. So I had to, it was made it compulsory almost for continuation of my work to work in the night because daytime it used to break many times, which was not affordable for writing computer programs also.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I started working there in the night. And
Mm-hmm.
once there was a trainee engineer, his name
Mm-hmm.
was I think Anand. Uh,
Okay.
he was surprised, sir, working late in the night. So what is he
Mm-hmm.
doing? What is he, when particularly I was doing programming, machine level programming. So he
Mm-hmm.
said, sir, can I sit with you overnight for a day or something? I said, yes, I don't mind it. So
Mm-hmm.
he was with me one night. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
After dinner, when everything was all other work, everybody else had gone in the
Mm-hmm.
factory, we kept only the lights in the area of the computer on.
Okay.
Rest of the factory, which was around 520, square feet, big
Mm-hmm.
room was there, and it was
Okay.
all completely in dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I was totally involved in writing, in
Mm-hmm.
programming. Then all of a sudden, this boy disturbed me and said, "Sir, I'm hearing something. Did you hear something?" I said, "What is that?" He said, "No, there's a knock on the. I'm hearing knock." So, toilet.
Vijay, before you continue, I just want to ask, there
Yeah.
is one horror story that you have written that night. Now,
Yeah.
again,
Same,
you have mentioned
same,
in
same,
that story that
same.
a group of, youngsters are there. They have, made a small get together, and they were
Yes.
the same incident which you are just saying right now.
Yes.
ये
Yes.
same चीज वहां
Only
पे
I
हो रही
changed it.
थी. They could hear the TikTok. And it
correct,
was
correct,
actually the
correct.
TikTok of the lizard.
Yes,
So was
yes,
it
yes,
based on
correct.
real story?
Yeah, yeah. This was a real story, but then
Hmm.
I changed the background. Like factory and
With a little
development
twist,
option.
yeah.
Yeah, so that it could be
Hmm.
little more interesting. That okay, it was a party going on. Okay, like that. I
Hmm.
changed the
Right.
background. Otherwise, it's the same
Okay.
story. Yes, yes. You remember that? Very nice.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That
Yes.
story is no doubt very entertaining. I mean, there is so much of suspense to it. So, tell us, how do you maintain such suspense in your stories?
Somehow it comes. Somehow it comes.
Okay. There's one more story. I mean, you have no doubt written such beautiful, really horrifying stories, but at the
Uh,
same time, you have written romantic stories. I mean, which is really heart touching.
yeah.
Full story that you had written, it was the nostalgia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
that was really nice. So
Yeah.
was it also based on your, the real story?
No, 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 no. It was without any
It was
base.
just your imagination.
Total imagination. I don't know.
Okay.
Somehow, whatever I'm writing is romanticism is very minimal in my stories, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's maybe indication of my not being romantic in person. Maybe that could be the reason.
Okay. So you're saying you're not a romantic person, as in person.
Yeah, looks like because I cannot write something romantic much
Mhm. Apart from the romantic stories, you have written stories like body donation. Tell us something about that. What made you think about such a beautiful concept, which is very much required nowadays? So,
yeah.
ये कैसे सोचा
Uh,
आपने?
See, actually, we both, my wife and we have pledged our bodies, and
That's really
then
remarkable. Very nice.
and there used to be a lot. I used to feel that one of my relatives, when he died, we thought we will give it body donation will be done for that, but no, they
Mm-hmm.
were opposing that. All the people who
Okay.
were actually, I thought they will donate their bodies, they didn't do that. So I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking some inhibition in the society. There's inhibition of body donation,
Right.
so I wrote something on that conflict that somebody wants to donate his body, but his family doesn't want to donate. And then
Mm-hmm.
his students who are impressed by his idea.
Okay. And you've written so many fiction stories, scientific fiction. I still remember one of my favorite story. It reminds me about the very popular English movie, which was Hollow Man. I mean, and you had given such a beautiful scientific reason how a person got transparent. I
Yeah,
mean, of course, that was a scientific fiction, but the story
yeah,
was really nice. So tell
yeah.
us something about the transparent man.
Transparent Man was, I wanted something like that to be written, but then I
Mm-hmm.
said the main idea comes like invisible man. I said he is
Mm-hmm.
not invisible. It is
Right.
transparent. Means his existence is seen. Only thing though his skin is transparent, so you can see the happenings in the body, and that is how
Right.
I developed further. And then I went
Mm-hmm.
little bit inside also some. I go into some medical information. A few of my
Mm-hmm.
close friends are doctors. I talked to them and got confirmation where what I'm thinking is correct or not. It's not totally. It should not be totally out of
So that means
reality.
you do like you gather information, a proper, information
Correct.
from the,
Yeah.
you know,
The actually who are authority in that field. I go
mm-hmm.
to them to get the authentic feedback from them, apart from imaginative feedback. So authenticity is
Mm-hmm.
very essential, and there I take help from doctors, from engineers, uh, from scientists. My
Mm-hmm.
brother is a scientist, so whenever I write
Okay.
something in science, then I just take feedback from him, And
Okay.
that's,
I can just, like all the stories are just jumbling up in my mind. I'm just bursting with a lot of questions to ask you.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
then I just want to ask about one story that you had mentioned, the long lost friend, where,
uh,
you had actually given an example, of a complete flock of birds who
yeah,
had actually, like met, and then simultaneously you were mentioning about a friend who was, had fallen sick, and then you lost that. सो
yeah.
तो ये क्या कुछ रियल स्टोरी के ऊपर बेस थी, या आपने बहुत ब्यूटीफुली उसको साइमल्टेनियसली उसको कोरिलेट किया है विथ नेचर, एंड विथ हाउ जैसे कि एक फ्लोरा एंड फाउना होता है और एक
Yes, yes,
ह्यूमन चेन होता है, वो किस तरह से
yes.
आप
Yeah.
कोरिलेट
So
करते हैं, इसके बारे में
yes,
बताइए.
yes, it is one of my most loved story. It is a rare stories, but I loved it too much. I like it very much.
We all
See,
love it too.
very good. Thank you. So actually, it did not. I did not write it after the things had happened, but the things happened like this after the I had written it. It was really
Okay.
coincidence that when the
Mm-hmm.
corona was in action that time,
Right.
and then
Mm-hmm.
one of my very close friend,
Mm-hmm.
senior to me by 5 6 years, 7 8 years, but he was fit and all that, but he got affected by corona and he died.
Okay.
So that was a little solid impact. But then I was wondering
Mm-hmm.
how it happened that how did my story came true? Like we could not go and see him because of the corona, and that was
Okay.
really it was really heart-wrenching actually. But but at the same time I liked it. Arey, how could I write club both this together? Like okay, nature as well as this calamity which we faced.
विजय जी, अपार्ट फ्रॉम राइटिंग आपकी और क्या क्या हॉबीज हैं?
हॉबीज तो दो तीन बहुत अच्छी है. एक तो आई यूज्ड टू गो फॉर ऑफ कोर्स now I cannot pursue them, but I used to go
ओके.
for hiking. Hiking was my hobby. I used to do a lot of
ओह वाओ.
hiking, a
हम्म.
lot of hiking, and then a little bit music appreciation. Music
ओके.
appreciation of old film. I appreciated to
कैन यू
old
प्ले
films.
सम म्यूजिकल इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स एज वेल?
No, no, not singing, just
ओके.
listening. No, no,
ओके. ओके.
appreciation. I just said appreciation, not performance. And I used to appreciate and enjoy the films also. Films, but
हम्म.
not commercial film.
ओके.
Preferably some art film. There was in '75 there was the new wave film. Uh, so many films had come which were not regular films, but they were good films. So I used to see
ओके.
them, analyze them, and I used to enjoy those films. But again, after
ओके.
career, I got involved in career. Then they really got into backseat, and then I could never pay attention to these hobbies.
ओके.
Okay.
विजय जी, लेट अस नो अबाउट योर फ्यूचर राइटिंग प्लान्स.
Uh, See, first of all, I want to make audio book of my stories. That is my one of
ओके,
the
दैट्स ग्रेट.
priority. I
हम्म.
want to make an audio book. That is one
हम्म.
thing. And as far as stories are concerned, I want to write different things like some thriller is in my mind, which I will
ओके.
be writing very soon. And
We are
it's one
looking
of
forward to hear that story, read that story again in in Storyberries.
sure, sure. I'm also very much dying to give such lovely story to you people to enjoy.
Yes,
I
we are
hope
looking
it.
forward to read such beautiful stories from you.
Yeah.
Vijay ji, let us know how was
Oh,
your experience with
yeah,
Storyberries?
yeah, yeah. Actually, I had written a lot of stories, and
Mm-hmm.
when I wanted to, naturally, you need to publish them. Otherwise, if nobody reads it, what is the use? So, one of my stories I published in Twist and
Mm-hmm.
Twist, that is the other magazine first, and then
Mm-hmm.
okay, I was happy and I got confidence that okay, my story can be published, and
Okay.
then that time only my sister-in-law, Vinia, she
Mhm.
recommended me. Okay, her friend Raki has started a one
Mhm.
new platform for new writers, and
Mhm.
so why don't you send your story? I said, will she accept my story? I said, you send it.
Mhm.
And then with apprehension, I sent one story to her. And little bit of
Mhm.
editing she did, and she published it. I was happy. Then I sent another story that was also published. I
Mhm.
was very happy.
Okay.
Then I started sending, once you feel that okay, you can do it, then you keep writing more and more and sending it more and
Mhm.
more. And literally over 2025, I think, stories I have sent to Storyberries. Around that, I have
Mhm.
spent. And I'm really happy that I was given that star author of Storyberry. That was great. I was in States that time, and I was
Mhm.
so thrilled. Absolutely no bounds at all. Like something great.
ओके, तो आप स्टोरी बेरीज के राइटर्स और व्यूअर्स को क्या मैसेज देना चाहते हैं?
मैसेज ऐसे कुछ नहीं, मेरे ओपिनियन बताता हूँ कि
हम्म।
स्टोरी बेरीज इज a really good platform. They will publish without any imposing their ideas. You do this, you do that, nothing like that. That was
हम्म।
something very encouraging.
हम्म।
She sometimes she had to do editing. That was okay because I am also not.
हम्म।
But otherwise, it is a very good platform, and the coverage, the exposure to the whatever you are written is you get is very good, very satisfying.
हम्म।
Yes. I would.
ऐसे बहुत सारे राइटर्स हैं जो अपना करियर एज अ आई मीन जो यंग राइटर्स हैं हु हैव नॉट एक्चुअली परसूड देमसेल्व्स इनटू दैट पर्टिकुलर राइटिंग प्रोफेशनल फील्ड में, तो वैसे यंगस्टर्स को आप क्या मैसेज देना चाहते हैं?
अगर उनको करियर करना है, then they have to pursue with lot of things. First of all, they should not restrict their writing to a particular subject. It has to be very much diversified. That is one
हम्म।
thing. And second thing is keep writing, keep writing,
ओके।
and once you keep writing, so that you get used to writing, and then your
हम्म।
style also improves
ओके।
automatically. So, writing and writing and writing, that should be the only goal without any deterioration. You should not get deterred at all. Somebody say, oh, that
हम्म।
was a bad story. It doesn't matter. Okay, you write another story. Somebody say, okay, this is a good
हम्म।
story. But should not stop at that
ओके।
time. So keep writing. That is what my uh, advice would
Just
be.
one more thing I want to ask you, Vijay ji. Like just now you mentioned कि अगर कोई appreciate नहीं कर रहा हो आपकी writing को, तो how
Uh,
does it does a writer like उसके अचानक से अंदर से लिखने की वो जो एक feeling होती है क्या वो रुक जाती है? Then अचानक से I mean वो जो एक writer block वाली चीज आती है वो is that a reason many a times the writers they prefer to stop their writing for a while and they feel that maybe it's not going
yes,
according to the
yes,
flow. So have you
correct.
faced something like that before?
Yeah, of course, because I didn't
Mhm.
first, but at that I was not taking it as a career because after
Mhm.
retirement only I started writing my things regularly.
Mhm.
I was in 2014.
Okay.
I started writing much more, but
Mhm.
and I have written one story also, the short story
Mhm.
writer, where in that
Right.
he keeps on writing and sending it to for publisher. Nobody was accepting him, and so he was
Mhm.
getting. And ultimately, the time came. Okay, though I'm going to stop. His mother's support was diminishing because he said, "No, what is the use writing if nobody is accepting
Mhm.
it?" But then his girlfriend supports him and says, "No, we'll try another publisher." And then
Right.
somehow that story clicks. And then after one after another, all his stories are in
Mhm.
demand, and then he gets a very good acknowledgement, recognition. So that
So
is
you're
the
saying इसकी हमेशा कोशिश करती रहनी चाहिए.
correct. Never lose heart. Never lose heart, because it's a creativity. It's not as particular any uh, format. Your format a little bit is required, but not the, your
Mm-hmm.
expression of your information or your feelings is not a particular thing. It
Okay.
cannot be taught. It is created. It's a generated your own thing.
Right.
However bad
Absolutely.
one may find, however bad one may find today,
Mm-hmm.
maybe tomorrow it will be accepted.
Okay.
So
तो विजय जी प्लीज ये भी बताएं, आपने तो बहुत सारी स्टोरीज लिखी हैं, स्टोरीज को छोड़कर आपने पोइट्रीज में भी लिखना शुरू किया. सो
yeah,
यू
poetry was not my cup of tea. I used to write stories, but never poetry. But to some
नो.
extent, when I read some poems from your blog, like so on StoryBerrys, it inspired me.
ओके.
Okay, I should do something like this also, and wrote few poems. And there was an international competition asking for poems on particular
ओके.
topic of the rise. The topic was the rise, and then
ओके.
I submitted that, and I was so surprised that it was shortlisted, and I was
वाओ,
thrilled.
दैट्स रियली गुड.
Really, I was thrilled, and then I said,
जी विजय जी, टेल अस समथिंग अबाउट योर फेवरेट ऑथर्स. आप किसी ऑथर्स राइटर्स को फॉलो करते हैं? हु आर योर फेवरेट ऑथर्स?
I don't follow them, but see, there. First of all, my most favorite author was Marathi writer Visa Khandekar. Visa Khandekar, you must have heard of him. He's a uh, Jnanpith Award winner. And Savarkar, Veer Savarkar, people talk about him, his political career and all that. But he was such a fantastic writer as well as poet. My God. He has written stories, not imaginative stories, but something, whatever expression he had, whatever feeling he had, he has written it so well, absolutely great. So these two
ओके.
personalities have impressed my in my writing something, that is that I would give some. I don't claim to be having achieved something, but whatever way I am following is through them.
ओके.
Okay, yeah.
राइट. It was a pleasure having you in our Gupshup show, Vijay ji.
Yeah,
We are
okay.
looking forward to hear a lot of your, new writings in StoryBerrys. StoryBerrys पे आने के लिए, अपना समय देने के लिए, thank you so much.
I am so happy and hope to see you again and again.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
definitely.
And I would like to read more stories from you too. Okay.
Yes, I would definitely be writing it. After talking to you, I'm very much inspired that one should never stop writing. कोशिश
Correct.
करती रहनी चाहिए.
Koshi, right, right. Okay. Bye.
Right. Thank you so much. दोस्तों, आप हमारे इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना बिल्कुल ना भूलें और हमें इंस्टाग्राम और फेसबुक में भी जरूर फॉलो करें.